Live from global British Columbia, the Morning News.
Up next, we cover the case of Thomas Ellison, the Prince of Wales quest teacher convicted to 2 years less a day to be served under house arrest.
It was a chance meeting at a dinner party in December of 1992 of two women, Laura Anderson and Denise Tupman. They had both gone to Prince of Wales Secondary School in the late 70s and early 80s, both in the Quest outdoor program headed by Tom Ellison. It was then that these women discovered that they had both been harboring a secret, that Ellison had coerced them into sexual relationships while they were underage attending the school. This discovery led to the eventual investigation being held into a man who is now deemed guilty of 7 charges, with 12 women eventually having come forward, all with disturbingly similar stories. Tom Ellison began working with the Quest program in 1974, and during his time there he is admitted to having sex with at least 17 female students, all between the ages of 14 and 18 at the time. A charming but often described as inappropriate teacher, Ellison was immensely popular with his students, especially the female ones. The Quest program is referred to as cult-like by those who surrounded it during its peak, and Tom Ellison was very much its ringleader. We now go to Jade Herman live at Prince of Wales Secondary School on Vancouver's west side for more details into the case and its victims.
Thanks, Quinn. I'm outside of Prince of Wales Secondary School, where former teacher of the Quest program, Tom Ellison, was charged with having sexual relationships with several of his female students. To many of Tom Ellison's students, he was known as a godlike teacher. Many of the women testified that their relationship with Ellison made them feel special, thinking they were loved with their teacher at the time. A woman who said she was 14 years old the first time she had a sexual encounter with Tom told the court she had numerous sexual encounters with Ellison starting in 1973, when she was a troubled 14-year-old and hungry for love. I was really mixed up, needy, lonely, vulnerable little girl, she said of those days, adding that Ellison's attention was flattering and she clung to him, believing he loved her. He was older and my teacher, and I loved him. I was so starved for attention and affection, she said. Their first sexual encounter was on his boat at the False Creek Marina, after she and her sister had spent the evening drinking wine and talking with him. The affair lasted for more than a year, with frequent meetings on Ellison's boat or the girls' family home, where the sisters were then living alone. One of the female victims, whose name cannot be released, claims that even though Ellison was her teacher in Quest and not her teacher in grade 12, but outside of the classroom, he had coached her through oral sex, digital penetration, and other erotic activities. He always told me he would show me what to do and guide me through the process, she said. He said he was preparing me for my sexual future with other partners. She kept their relationship secret, saying he told her once that if she revealed their secret to anyone, her father, who worked for the Vancouver School Board, would be fired. Many other cases began when Ellison invited the teenage girls to slow waltz at school dances, where the lights were low and the sexual energy high, the woman told BC Provincial Court. From there, it progressed to body massages and intimate touching, they told a small, packed courtroom. Although Tom Ellison alone is facing criminal charges, 2 other Quest teachers, Dean Hall and Stan Caligari, are being investigated by the BC College of Teachers to determine whether their actions at Prince of Wales Secondary constituted professional misconduct. They had continued to work as teachers until recent years when they were fired. This is Jade Herman reporting live outside of Prince of Wales Secondary School. Now back to you, Quinn.
When Denise Tupman finally came forward to police in 1993, she was shortly followed by Laura Anderson. Both women were ready for the truth to finally be brought forth. Unfortunately, even though 2 other former Quest students came forward in 1993 and 1994, the investigation was stalled until the year 2000. The file was reopened and investigations once again began, but it was only in 2004 that Ellison was finally charged with 6 counts of gross indecency and 2 counts of indecent assault. During a 2-week trial in October of 2006, 6 women testified, but most of their names are protected. Only 3 of the women, Anderson, Tupman, as well as Bridget Ross, who continued a 13-year relationship with Ellison after she graduated from high school, chose to lift the ban on their names.
We were able to reach Denise Tupman about her choice to make her name public.
I actually hadn't intended on doing it. I planned to testify and fade away. It seemed to me that Tom Ellison was feeling no remorse and was seeming rather smug. After I did it, a huge sense of relief washed over me. I'd been keeping my secret for 29 years. I took the power back and said, it's me. I'm complainant number 3. I'm not ashamed. This was not my fault.
Upon reports from former students, Prince of Wales staff, as well as the administrators who oversaw them, it appears it was common knowledge that something was very wrong with the Quest program, and that Tom Ellison was the root of those problems. Two other male teachers who taught alongside him, Stan Caligari and Dean Hull, are also in the midst of being investigated for similar actions. Former Vice Principal Ted Hunt, who was key in shutting down the program in 1987, said this about the role he and others failed to play during the time. How did they get control? Well, the answer is we all let them. The teachers, the administrators, the taxpayers, the neighbors, the kids themselves. We allowed them to take control, and we should never do that. More than 3 decades later, at least one of these 3 teachers is being brought to justice due to the bravery of the women who stood up and demanded the truth.